Things change.
It's kind of a unique. Like, did you ever think after you left the Cardinals that one year you would be back at spring training with the Cardinals?
No. I mean, whenever you leave an organization, it's like you respect your time, you enjoy it, but at no point it's like, hey, I'll see you in a couple of years. You know, that's not something. Heck, you don't know where the game's going to take you. You don't know when you're going to be done and stuff like that. So, I've had a good journey since I've left, but it led me back here and a chance to take Cardinals back to the playoffs, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
There's a bit of irony involved in this because when you were a Cardinal, you were a constant delight.
Yes, to some.
But there was also some times where it felt like maybe you marched to the beat of your own drum, and then full 180, they bring you back because they need leadership and they need that edge. And here's Lance Lynn. There's irony there, isn't it?
A little bit. I mean, you look at maybe the things that were said about me before. I competed, but I showed too much emotion, and I didn't quite do things the way that everyone wanted me to do. I competed with everything I had, and that's what I knew how to do, and I became that person. And then I took that person with me when I left, and I've had success leaving too. And then now to be able to come back and show, hey, this is the person that I always was, and this is the person that I am. And I'm a good teammate. I take care of the people around me, and I like to win. And if I hurt your feelings doing that, I'm sorry, but that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win baseball games.
And media, that also goes for media.
Yeah, I'm not here to give you a story. That's your job to get your own story.
That's awesome. What about the other guys in the rotation? So it's not just Lance Lynn. They bring in Sonny Gray. They bring in Kyle Gibson. They bring in veteran guys. And as a starting rotation, you guys are not the youngest in the league. There's an upside to that. There could be a downside depending how things go. How do you look at it?
Well, one thing you don't have to worry about training wheels. Those have been off for all of us for a long time. So, we know how to take the ball. We know how to give you innings. We know how to give you starts. In this game, if you got 5 starters that can take the ball, give you starts, give you innings, your bullpen's going to be better. They're going to be fresher as the year goes on, and that's what it's all about. So that's where we're at. We got guys who aren't afraid to take the ball. They're not afraid to compete, and they're not afraid to leave it out on the field. And they're not worried about anything else except winning baseball games and not social media clicks or anything like that. They're here to play baseball, and they're here to win games. That's what it's all about.
So size up this ball club for us. Obviously, you came back. You now live near St. Louis. You're a family guy, kind of a different guy than you were back in the day. But size up the team because that's one of the reasons why you came back, right?
When you look at offensively, you got guys that are heading towards Hall of Fame careers. They're on that pace. So, and you got young guys that are literally coming into their own, figuring those things out. So as a staff, we got to do our job to make sure we don't give up runs early. We go deep into games so we can hand the ball over to our bullpen that's deep at the back end. If we do that, we're going to be all right. You look at the catcher. The catcher is one of the most passionate people I've ever seen play the game. And I'm looking forward to working with him and being a part of that. We got a young catcher that's never seen play in person. It's supposed to be pretty darn good. So all in all, we got to figure out how to come together as a team, root for each other, help each other, learn every day, and then next thing you know, we win baseball games and then see where we're at the end.
So last year, Wilson was sort of a source of controversy over, how much he knew about the guys who he was handling and the adjustment. By the end of the season, he won everyone over because you mentioned they saw this guy plays with fire, this guy plays with passion. How well do you know him?
I just know that I didn't like playing against him, and usually when you don't like playing against somebody, they're pretty damn good. So that's what I know about Wilson. I know that he's a good teammate, and I know that he cares. And as a catcher, when you're a guy on the mound, that he knows that the catcher cares and he's going to give you the best effort that he can no matter what's going on, that's all you ask. And he checks all those boxes, and the dude wants to win, and that's why he plays the game. So it's good to have passion, and it's good to play with it and all that. Sometimes it's taken the wrong way by people, especially when you have not success at the right way. But if you keep being who you are and being authentic to yourself, that's who Wilson is, and it came out at the end.
You have fire. Last year was not your best year. How do you look at last season? People look at the homers and stuff like that. How do you assess where you are in terms of being the best Lance Lynn you can be?
You learn things. If you don't learn things, the older you get, you just become a dumb old man. So right now, I learned some things that are going to help me. I know what made me good for a long time, and I got away from that a little bit last year. But I also can take some of the things that got me in trouble last year and incorporate those into my game when I'm in a good stretch. So I'm looking forward to getting in a game, incorporating the things I need to do, but getting back to being who I am and being the pitcher that I was for a long time before last year. And I still made 30 plus starts. I still threw 109 innings, still struck out over 190 people. So keep a few more balls in the ballpark, everybody's gonna be all right.
Part of the season you're with the White Sox, and I talked to you there, and I know you're a veteran, so those sort of things don't or shouldn't distract you. But it did kind of seem like that was a ship that was adrift a little bit, just in terms of what I saw with that ball club.
You're part of it. Every year's different. You got to figure out how to be successful no matter what ship you're on. If it's sinking, you got to figure out how to get on a spot that's going to float. Last year was just a weird year. You have the WBC, you have new coach, new everything. It was a transition year there in Chicago, and as a team and individuals, we didn't play well. So you saw that it got broken up, and they went in a new direction this year because they're trying to create a different culture for them. So that's part of the gig in this game. But as a player and as a professional, you got to show up every day ready to compete. And last year was a learning experience on those ends too. So I was able to learn a lot of things from young guys that I can incorporate this year into this group if anything starts going down the wrong path.
The WBC, obviously, I think it's probably an honor for most guys to represent their country. But as a pitcher, I saw guys had some kind of challenges navigating that, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's not a normal off season for you guys.
Yeah, you got to be ready quicker. There's really no other way to say it. So, obviously, when you get to represent your country, that's the biggest honor that you can have in this game. So to be able to do that was a great accomplishment, a great feeling. But it takes a toll on you. This year, I'm looking forward to using spring training to get myself ready for the start of the season instead of trying to be ready March. I don't remember when our first game was, like March 8th or something like that for the WBC last year. So it's definitely a ramp up, which made the fall down. I think people don't understand that, just the juices that you get in those games all the way up to the championship game against Japan, and then you go back to spring training. It's like your body just shut off because you're like, what am I doing? I'm not in the thick of things. So now
it's tougher to navigate.
It's
right?
just weird. There's no other way to say it. At the end of it, you're ready for the season to start, and then you had to go back to spring training for 2 weeks, and then you just kind of, your body was like, hey, I'm ready to go, but you're not. Nothing worse than going back and throwing a spring training game after pitching the WBC. I promise you.
Now you're not like the rah-rah guy. You're a leader, but you take it seriously. But have you thought about opening day? Not just the season opener, but opening day in St. Louis. Lance Lynn.
Try to sing the national anthem.
I'm sorry? You're not gonna.
Not me.
Did you? You didn't like that. You didn't like that.
What? Like what? I love the national anthem.
No, I know you. But I mean, maybe a player singing the national anthem.
Who did that?
Bueno did that. You know.
Oh, he's a country music star now.
Do you like his music?
I've heard one song.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm mad at it.
But Lance Lynn, back in St. Louis, Cardinal uniform, driving around the stadium in pickup truck or Corvette or convertible, whatever. Have you thought about what that's going to be like?
Yeah, it's going to be a full circle moment. There's really no other way to say it. So I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people I haven't seen in a while in the Hall of Fame line and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to being back. And when you play at Busch Stadium in front of a sold out crowd, that's what the game's all about right there.
Couple other questions that we're using for a feature. If you're not a baseball player, what is Lance Lynn? What do you think you are?
Ooh, man, if I wasn't a baseball player, I always said that I would be a UPS driver because I have the calves for it.
You have
the calves for it.
Oh, so would you be happy doing something like that?
Driving around a truck and not dealing with you.
That's good.